Morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning.
This is awesome. Thank you very much for all coming. I really appreciate everybody's time. Today, 2 hours. We're going to be videoing this. Maybe upload this to Facebook page.
Who knows?
YouTube channel, whatever. Kind of how we're going to do this again. 2 hours today. First hour, first half will be pitching. Second half will be hitting. We may break away from the hitting a little bit to do some fielding instruction. I've got your emails, and so the idea is to, the handouts that you have, we're going to go, there's some hyperlinks on it, so I'll be able to send you the Word document so you can click on the links. There are a couple videos on there from some of the websites with some of the drills, as well as, one of the tools that we use to help with, getting the players' arms into the right spots. So, a little background on myself. My name is Brandon Rote. I'm originally here from Neenah. Graduated high school in 2000. Played baseball here. Earned all first team all conference honors, all area honors, and was selected to the WBCA state all baseball team. Went on to pitch at Carthage College. My freshman year, I was our number 2 starter. Sophomore year, ended up being our closer. Tied a record in saves. We then had the opportunity to play in the World Series, and that was pretty awesome. I was the MVP of the tournament that got us to the World Series. So we had a couple really good programs, and we had some great seasons there. Unfortunately, my pitching career was kind of cut short. Tore my rotator cuff, had surgery, but didn't get the velocity back, and was a shell of my former self. But hey, that's how it goes. Kept my head in the books, and I'm a dentist, and dentist here in town. So the wife and I, we have 2 boys, one of which plays baseball, and he's throwing dropping the ball back there. So kind of with the background here, again, it's awesome to see so many people here, but we need to know why. Why are we here today, and what are our goals? Because that is how we can, in my opinion, the goal here is to be perennial state baseball championships and have that. There's no reason why we shouldn't do it. We just need to have clear communication, and that's our goal. All right. When I came back to town, and when Caden, got into baseball, I was surprised of 2 things: the fact that there was a disconnect between the varsity level and the youth programs, both of them, and so that was one issue that we needed to identify. And then the second one, when I was at an 8U tournament, one of the players on the 8U team had an older brother, and he said, "Oh no, we're playing Kimberly," and that pissed me off big time, because and then I corrected him immediately. I said, "No, Kimberly's playing us. We're not playing them. They're playing us." That's the mindset that we need to have, and we need to show our kids and demonstrate to them that they're the ones playing us. They need to know that that's the confidence going in, because it can't be the other way around. Because if you go up there already defeated, you're defeated, and so you have to change that mindset around. So my role in this is pretty simple. I just want to facilitate the instruction from the varsity level to the youth programs. Period. That's why we're doing this. This is for the kids, and so if we can get this to the feeder system, okay. If we can get this to Suburban and Neenah City or Neenah Baseball, that's what we're doing here. That's why we're here. I mean, show of hands, how many Suburban? Great. Neenah City? I'm used to saying Neenah City because that's what it was when I played for Suburban back in the day. So another issue that is here is that there are 2 leagues, Neenah City, Neenah Suburban. The reason why there are 2 leagues, it's important to kind of a little quick aside, was that decades and generations ago, the kids from Suburban, literally the outlying towns, could not play in Neenah City, and so Mr. Leo, Mr. Strohmeyer got together and said, okay, hey, let's get a youth program together for these kids in the outlying areas to play baseball, which is great. Times have changed, which is a good thing. And so now we're going to be seeing more of these group ventures, because both the leadership at Suburban, the leadership at Neenah City are now realizing, hey, listen, if we want to be perennial state champions, we've got to make sure that we're communicating together. So with that said, we certainly can talk pitching. Guys, if you want to give anything to add?
No, I was just, for you, the guys that don't know me, I'm Steve Marhefke. I'm an assistant varsity baseball coach, and I'm also president of Suburban Athletics. So basically what he said, what Brandon's talked about, coming together, getting terminology. My main goal here is to make sure we have the same terminology. So when your 13, 14, 8, 9, 10-year-old gets up to this level, they understand when we say 1-2 field. They understand when we say each euro hitting drill. They know what it is. Okay, right now we got freshmen coming in, we got eighth graders, young guys that don't know this type of stuff, and that's hard for them already as a freshman to pick it up and understand what's going on. So if we can pass down a few of these drills that we know that we're going to be doing here still at the varsity level, even at the ninth grade level, it makes us all better, right? It makes they're not learning one thing from one coach and then they get to this level and they're learning another thing. It's all a continuity, all going in the same direction. So this type of thing is great, and I would expect that, with the amount of turnout we had here, the more people we can get involved, the better off we're going to be. So
absolutely. And this is just, this is our first pass at this. All right, it's not going to be perfect, but we're the only way you can do something is to try, make some mistakes, learn from your mistakes, and then we just move forward. All right. I know a fair amount about baseball. Let's just make it happen. All right, and that's what's important. Does anybody have any questions or any comments? Yeah. Oh, yeah. You go.
I'm Jim Piepenbrink. I'm the head baseball coach at Neenah, and I just want to thank you for particularly volunteering to work with your kids. That is a huge step, and I know probably a lot of you have sons that are involved. Maybe some of you don't even have sons, but the more you work with them, the more you teach them about the sport, the more they understand about being on the team is going to help us. And I've already seen our freshman class, I've already seen some real talent. So that's kudos to you guys who's ever worked with them. I've seen some really talented kids. Now we've got to teach them the way we do things, and hopefully, as we're passing some of this stuff down, it's gonna help our program. I've been a head coach for 11 years. 2 years we went to state tournament. 2011 we were runners up. The only reason we didn't win it, I still believe, is we didn't have enough pitching. 2013 we lost the first game. We had a pitcher threw 2 in center field on bunts, but both times I felt like we need to develop more pitching. So whatever you can do to help the arm path, teach them how to throw, the better. I think we counted freshmen yesterday, we had 9 pitchers, which is great. We get 5 good pitchers out of that group, that's really going to pay dividends. Some of them are taller than I am, so I don't know what's going on with that.
Real long too. It's amazing. It's.
I don't know what happened to Neenah's water with that freshman class, but all the classes beforehand didn't get the same water treatment.
It's
because it's crazy how much they've thrown.
They're all like 6'6", and their arms are they're going forever. It's awesome.
But anyway, thanks for being here. If you have any questions about anything, don't hesitate to ask. I'm kind of just here to help. Steve played for me, and Brandon played for me. I was an assistant when they were playing varsity level, but they've got a lot of good knowledge here, and if any way I can help, please ask. I certainly don't know everything. I'm still learning, otherwise I'd be out of this program. But thanks for what you do and for participating in a thing like this. We do have a youth clinic April 29th, so we're offering to all players in the youth leagues. It's a Sunday, and I don't remember the time of year. It's like 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, something like that. But it's on the website, so
Indoor or outdoor?
it's outside. It's absolutely outside. Hopefully it's good. But anyway, thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Awesome. All right, let's talk some pitching.
Know what's going on, so you guys can see what they're doing, and then from a player aspect, they can kind of go through, what Brandon says to make it a little bit easier for the understanding of some of the players when you're coaching them what to look for. So,
in addition, so we also have my son Caden and another tournament player, Connor Amsler. So it's one thing when you have guys who understand their bodies and understand their bodies in space and have done the drills for a long time, and what these drills will look like projected on somebody who's senior, sophomore, right? But it starts when these guys are 10, but it starts when they're 8. So you're gonna see what it's like, hey guys, you're gonna see what it's like for 8 and 10-year-olds, what these drills look like, because it's gonna look different when Sam does it versus when Caden and Connor do it. So it's important you see what Caden and Connor do, but understand the goals are what, it's gonna look like with Sam and Squeaks. So, all right? So everything that I'm gonna say is really, it's on the handouts, all right? So take notes if you want, feel free, but we'll just start with the drills. And so the key with 8 and 10-year-olds is you gotta keep it simple, period. You gotta keep it simple. And, and whether you're pitching in college, pitching in middle school and younger, you're never trying to throw a ball. Very rarely. You're always trying to throw strikes. So coaches from the dugout says, just throw strikes or don't walk this guy. Well, no shit. They're not trying to, trust me, they're not. They're trying to throw strikes the whole time. So the cues that come from the dugout need to be based on what the drills that they're learning. And so if you see somebody who's flying open on his front side, it's going to be important that the drill that works on the front side is what comes from the dugout, okay? Or if they're not striding straight, it's the emphasis on the drill that allows them to stride forward, or if their balance is off. I mean, that's how you can inform a pitcher from the dugout, a little verbal cue to go, okay, got it. Because I've done the drill 1,000 times, I know how to do it. The mental cue is really, really important then. So let's go ahead and start. Very important drill. It's called tight circle. It's 8 and 10-year-olds. Arm path is goal. Arm path is how you get the ball from your glove to release point. All right. Good drill for that. Jack calls it tight circle. There's a little tool that I like to use that helps with this. It's the link is there. It's Amazon. I just made this because I didn't want to spend $30, so I just made it. So pretty simple. I wiffle ball, put a dowel through it. Green is good, red is not good. And so when you're doing the drill, have your fingers on top of the baseball. Tight circle is essentially bringing your thumb to thigh, fingers to sky, okay? You do not want that ball faced towards you. If that's the case, you're gonna see red, all right? You wanna see green. You want your fingers on top of the baseball, seeing green, all right? If you're a right-handed pitcher, that ball is going to be faced towards the shortstop, right? So we're throwing this way.
Okay, yeah, so if we're throwing this way, shortstop's obviously gonna be over here. So the last thing we want is to turn either this way, that's obviously towards the second baseman, so it's got to be towards the shortstop, so it's easier for somebody to turn and go through. But obviously, like you said, towards the shortstop.
And the best thing too, is to self-check, okay? As a coach, you can self-check here. You want elbow slightly above shoulder, okay? Baseball up, fingers to the sky, basically dotting an I. Okay, this is called the power L too. They want to get to this position. If you get a child that's down in here, okay, now all of a sudden we're putting a lot more strain on elbow, everything else. And they're going to start pushing the ball. It'll come here. So if we get up, power L, okay, elbow is slightly above shoulder, okay, hand is just outside of elbow. We don't want it in here. We want it out here like this, okay? That's just a self-checking. Everybody can do that. Kids can do it, everything.
And the nice thing about you're going to see so many kids, 8-year-old, their natural motion is going to be this.
High jumpers.
All right? And so if they're doing that and they're using this ball, they're seeing red. It's just a very easy self-check, like Coach was saying. If you're seeing green, you're seeing it right, okay? And and all you do is get your elbow up, right? Tight circle.
Just here, another thing to overemphasize is a lot of kids want to start in the midline of their body. That's going to create a slow and uneasy arm path because kids are going to want to go down and out, and then they got to bring everything back here. So really overemphasize being at the backpack. Okay,
That's all throwing, not just pitching.
Yeah, that's going to make a clean arm path, a quick arm path. So you're starting at your backpack, tight circle here. Okay.
This is what it's going to look like from a 10-year-old here.
Come over here. Feet, just like I am, okay? Start at your back side, here, then go through your arm pad, through your pinky up. Good, and then just hold it there once for us. Okay, so just to, if you have a kid that's doing this, obviously looks pretty good, right? He's got the L, point towards the shortstop. A lot of kids at the younger age with a baseball are gonna let this fall back, okay? We wanna make sure, I call it stacked when I'm talking to younger guys, say stay stacked with your hand. Okay, stay stacked here. Last thing we want to do is have them do this, and then the ball fly out and go sailing up, okay? Staying stacked here. Go through it again. Just do it one more time, so just make those little adjustments. Boom, there.
The other thing is if you don't have the fancy green, right? One of the things you can tell them, as I always tell younger kids, is knocking on the door. Okay? You don't knock on the door like this. You knock on the door like this. Okay? So you got a baseball in your hand, knock on the door. Elbow up, knocking on the door. We even tell our older guys that are doing, because we still got guys at high school level that do this.
If we can get every 10-year-old to then become 11 and getting the ball faced away, that's huge. All right, that's literally the goal here. If we can get every single kid getting that ball faced away, huge. That's a win. I don't care what happens afterwards. If we can get the ball here, that's it. All right. So everything else will take care of itself eventually. But if you can get the ball faced away at 10 years old, we're good. We can take it from there.
Because you're saving his arm. I mean, and realistically, if you get him to that position, okay, you're now helping that child save his arm for future years. So, gentlemen like him and I who have rotator cuff surgery, hopefully he won't have it. Now, sometimes it's just genetics and that's how it works, right? But as we can get rid of throwing, putting pressure on the elbow, put more pressure here, because now when we get him to this good position and he starts to do his throwing, it's all on your, one dependent. You're not multiplying your break points. It's
This is what we see a lot with young guys. They go here.
Yeah.
They may start here, then
They
they
drop.
drop down and throw like this. I got a freshman that yesterday pitching, he does that, drops his elbow. And the other thing is opposite equal.
and by the time they get a freshman and they're doing that, it's hard to break it. We can break it here, but when they're a 15-year-old kid who's been doing this wrong the whole time, and he's sitting here watching all his other buddies being able to do it, it's frustrating for him, and it's frustrating for us coaches because you can see the potential of that young man, but it's you do something for 15 years one way, it's hard to snap him out of it.
All right, if you're taking notes, again, if you don't have it, knocking on the door, write that down. That's another. That's an important cue that as you're teaching these kids, and if you notice that they're doing this, say nope, knock on the door, right? Because it's just that quick little verbal cue that's so important when you're teaching kids how to throw. All right. So second drill, working on lower hand. Okay, so you're gonna go here. All right, it's arm up and down, up and down. Now, small little nuances. Getting the back hip towards the catcher and bringing your leg down and out. I mean, that's we're not there yet. We want to get from here, striding straight. Okay, all you got to do is stride straight up. So cross the arms, no hands, all legs.
The other big thing when he was doing there is we see a lot of kids. I just taught a 7-8 pitching camp at Valley, so I get to see the little guys. Is make sure that when we're doing this, is making sure. I always told them, and I know it's not the popular thing because of guns and everything, but I always said your front sight, back sight, right? So I always want to make sure that their instep is pointing towards their target. A lot of times you'll see kids, they'll go here, okay, and not pointing towards their target. If this foot's cocked or turned, their natural motion is should be going this way. Now they're going to have to do something to correct arm. I mean, we're trying to cut everything out. So if we're cutting up the upper part, we want to make sure that instep is pointing towards our target. Front shoulder is pointing towards our target. I don't want them turned in. I don't want them turned out. It's something that's simple. Balance out. Okay, we're not trying to put all the other stuff in, but we got to make sure that the foundation is good. If this foot is turned, if this is going somewhere else, you think about it. If you got your foot turned the wrong way, a kid, and he's supposed to throw this way, if you stand up, I want to turn my body to go this way. Now for me to throw it here, I got to do something with my arm to try to get it back over there, right? So this is just a simple back sight, front sight, pointing towards my target, arms crossed, up you go. It's the little things that, you know, I understand you're gonna have 12 kids running around and they're gonna be doing everything, but if you can even have them at 8 years old, they can self-check. They can sit there on a line. If you go to the foul line and you put your foot on there, they can self-check to make sure they're in a line. And they can make sure when they step in, they step out, that they're following the line. We don't want them stepping here, going sideways, stepping here, going here. Put them on the foul pole, foul line. Boom, step in within that area. You know what I'm saying? Those are the little tips for especially at the younger ages. Now, when you get to 13, 14, up a little bit smart, but you got to make it. I learned real quick at that 7 and 8 camp, you got to make it fun, or you lose them within 3 seconds. They're done. Okay, little Joe over there is throwing the ball up in the air. That looks way more fun than doing a dry drill like this, right? You got to do something to pique their interest.
Certainly got to keep it moving. But the goal for this drill specifically is to get the pitcher in a good position to create momentum in his body moving forward. Period. He's got to move in a line. That's the goal with this drill. Arms out. Done. Just get his momentum going forward. As they get older, the guys who throw harder are the guys who can go from here to here the fastest. That's it. Their arm just comes on for the ride. The faster you can get from here to here, the harder you're going to throw. Right now, you don't worry about it. You just got to get them going in the right direction. Eventually, their bodies will, some people can just do that faster than others. Well, those are the guys. Look at Pedro Martinez. He's 5'10", 165 through 97. He could do that pretty quick. So that's the whole idea. It doesn't make a difference how big you are. Get your momentum going forward.
One thing I was going to add, Brandon, the same thing holds true to position players. If you're a shortstop throwing to first base, you got to get your throwing arm instep toward the target, so it closes your shoulder. You don't want to throw like this. That's all arms. This instep has to be pointing your target. So it's just like pitching. It's striding right toward your target and releasing the ball.
That's exactly right. So, those are 2 drills right now for the younger kids. All right, we have the tight circle, and then we just have the lower half striding straight. The third drill for the younger kids is a figure 8 drill. Do you mind doing that? Yeah. You got to feel with it. Probably a good idea. Okay. He's a righty. I was lefty. I could have demonstrated left-handed, which I am left-handed. It would have worked. All right. So next drill here is the figure 8 drill. All right. The goal with this drill is front side or glove hand. Okay. 8 years old, it's going to look weird. Very weird. In fact, they probably won't even use their front side, but the goal of this drill is to get them using the front side, all right? So, I'll preview it. So, what you're gonna do is you're gonna, again, you wanna take the momentum, you wanna take the stride out. Right now, find a line you're striding straight. So, you just rock your weight back and forth, and when you're ready, you can do your tight circle, okay? But then, the key is to then actually throw through. Now, you can use a ball, you can do it dry. The goal with this drill is front side, specifically the front elbow. If for some players the visual of the glove is, if they want to use a glove, they can, but ideally, we want the elbow coming to the hip. For some people, they like to call it the yes drill. Yes, all right? If you're going through and you're saying yes, that is an example of what you're trying to do. But when you're equal and opposite, the faster you can get this elbow towards your hip and using your front side, the better. So this is what the drill is going to look like. And so again, the key is front side, glove hand, having it come through. Having it come through, rotating through the hips, it's so important.
Here's wrong. So I always do wrong way too, right? What you're going to look at is you're going to see kids that are going to go here, hand out, and then as they throw, this is going to come way out, right? This is good. They're swimming. They're trying to get out here. You don't want that because now this backside has to try to catch up.
and it's following the same
Right,
plane.
the same plane. So if he swims, his arms are going to come down here, right? So you'll see that. So the biggest thing is, I always call tucking it. Tuck your glove. Come here, figure eight, come through, and we come through and we tuck and go. Bring that elbow, like Brandon said, in. It's a hard drill. It's not a hard drill. It's just a drill that, as coaches, you can really see the flaw when that hand starts going out or they start doing goofy things. If you watch Sam do it again, if you watch Sam, now he's done this a bunch of times, so it's going to look.
All right, let's have it come from a 10-year-old. Got it? All right. So stride straight. Yep. So again, when you're striding straight, Connor, you're going to go up and down. So once you're in the position now, okay. So get in the position as if you were to stride straight. Okay. Now is when the hands come here, and then you start your rocking. All right, so go back and forth. Yep, and then eventually throw. Perfect. Elbow to hip. That's the goal of this drill. You want elbow coming to the hip. All right. All right. You want to work on that front side and that rotation. Okay. Now it's good. That doesn't look like Sam. Not even close, right? Not even close, because his hand, it was awkward looking. But that's okay, because the goal of the drill is front side, elbow to hip. As long as we can get elbow to hip, that's the purpose of the drill, period. So you work on the other stuff later. So, do it again, Connor. So, and did do the drill right, but again, the idea is working on the glove side. All right. I'm left-handed, so I'll do it this way. Get the elbow to come to the hip. Period. That's what you do. Okay. All right. Anything else to add there?
No, just and don't be afraid as coaches. When he gets to this position, when they get out, if his feet are turned or there's something, don't be scared to go over there, tap his foot, get his feet corrected. Okay. Because a lot of times, your foot's wrong. They'll look at you like, what are you talking about? My foot's wrong. I don't understand what you mean. So you get down on your knee. You're gonna have to show him how to line up his feet, get everything set, and it's gonna take him once, 6,000 times, 4, right? So you can see the difference. It's gonna take a ton of work and a ton of time to get him to that level. But if we start here, by the time he gets there, he's gonna, instead of 6,000 times, he's gonna be at 20,000 times, which is gonna be better than what he's doing, right? It's just, don't be afraid to get in there and correct them. And if you don't pick up little things, we're not expecting you to pick up all the wrong stuff and be able to dissect the kid, but it's just little things like where their feet are, if they're not rocking right or their weight's not back. Those are the little nuances that as coaches you can see,
Something I also want to point out one more time, or just emphasize. The only pitch that's thrown is a 4-seam fastball. That is it. There's no changeups, there's no curveballs, no sliders, no knuckleballs. 4-seam fastball, that is it. Because everybody needs to know what a 4-seam fastball is. I'm not going to ask if you do or not. Everybody needs to know. 4-seam fastball. It's been a long time since I talked about a 4-seam fastball. All right. So, when the ball is spinning in the air, okay, you're going to see primarily red, okay, with a 4-seam fastball. 2-seam fastball, there's going to be a break, because literally there's 2 seams, a lot of white, 2 seams. That's just how the ball is stitched, okay? So, can everybody see the difference in that spin versus that spin? It's pretty clear, all right? As a hitter, that's what you're picking up. When you're here, you're picking up spin immediately, all right? As a pitcher for now, all we're worried about with 8 and 10-year-olds is 4-seam fastballs. Now, everybody's hands are going to be different size. I shook just about everybody's hand here. Some people have small hands, some people have big hands. Now, the baseball, for adults, we can get 2 fingers on top of the baseball. For these kids, with really small hands, they can't get 2 fingers on top of the baseball. The ball's bigger than their hand, for crying out loud. So you might need to have 3 fingers on top of the baseball. We want to go from 3 fingers to 2 fingers eventually once they get older. But it's going to be tough to identify when that is right away unless they start spiking the ball on the ground with 3 fingers. Well, then maybe it's time to have 2 fingers. If you see the ball sailing away big time, they're not gripping the ball good enough. Maybe you want to slip a 3rd finger on top or on the side. 4-seam fastballs only. And so you can grip a 4-seam fastball one way. You can either have your middle finger, the end of the horseshoe on the middle finger, or you can have the open end of the horseshoe on the other. It's all a feel thing at that point. Me personally, I didn't like having my ring finger impeded by that seam. It just didn't feel right in my hand, and so I had the horseshoe and closer to my middle finger because then it allowed for a better feel, and the ball was able to come off my hand better that way. Now, when you're gripping a ball, it's a light grip. Go ahead, grab the ball. All right, it's a really light grip, and you can do this drill again with these kids. It's tough because the ball is so big, but I'm grabbing it from Sam's hand. Oh, sorry.
I didn't know if you were trying.
Yep, I'll grab it from Sam's hand. It's a light grip. You can grab it from my hand. It's a light grip. That's the key. Very light grip, because the harder you hold on to the baseball, the more friction there is, and the more it's going to come out like a changeup, even with consistent arm speed.
One thing to add to that with, I did the 7 and 8 camp at Valley too, and when we were talking first day about 4-seam fastballs, I first showed it to the kids. They all saw it. I gave them a ball, and all of them put 3 fingers on there. So these younger kids, they were smarter than I thought they'd be by grabbing 3 fingers. Okay, so
They can feel it. Right.
they'll do it on their own. It's like he just said, it's a feel thing. So if you hand a kid a ball and say, okay, all we got to do is put our fingers across the horseshoe, they're going to grab it how it feels most comfortable, and that's probably how they're going to be more accurate with how they throw the baseball.
It was funny, there was one little boy that when we did the 4-seam, I had him throw him up there and we kept on doing it. He went home to his dad called me and said, he came home and he was so excited that he learned how to throw a 4-seam fastball. And I was like, that's what we should be throwing,
That's number one.
Number one.
That's the only one.
And the other
That's
thing
the number
is,
one right here.
is when they grab
it,
it, you want to make sure that they're grabbing seams. They're putting their fingertips on seams. Okay, they're not inside.
Right.
And their hands are going to be different. And the best thing to try to do is try to get their thumb underneath the ball. I see a lot of young kids that are throwing. They try to put the ball in the set, especially when they're using 3 fingers. Then all of a sudden you start throwing that pinky in there and everything. So the biggest thing as coaches, if you can watch them put their fingers on the seams and then get that thumb underneath the ball. That's key. Because if you start throwing it here, then you're going to get all your dips and dives and turns. It's amazing. We take things for granted. I take things for granted. Since they've been little, I've been doing it. A lot of people don't know what a 4-seam fastball is. A lot of people don't know what a 2-seam fastball is. That's not your fault, just never been told, right? Yep. So it's just something to, again, this is talking about little ages, but we got freshmen that don't know what a 4-seam fastball is, and we had to show them.
And that's why we're here.
So.
The other thing with a 4-seam fastball is just like position players throw. It's the straightest ball you can throw. Because otherwise, if you throw a 2-seamer, it's going to cut. If you throw it like this or like this, the ball's going to cut. So you want to cross that big horseshoe, and it's the same throw that a third baseman, shortstop, same identical throw. Fingers on top, thumb underneath. Loose wrist, loose grip. You want to tuck it back. That's a changeup.
Question? Somebody have a, yep.
Coach, after just answered the question.
Okay.
I'm curious why to shy away from 2-seamer.
2-seam moves.
Dips and dives. And the thing is even, so when I was coming up through 8 through 14-year-olds, even as position players, we're talking about throwing all around, they got to get used to grabbing the ball and spinning the ball a little bit to find a seam. Okay, because your first baseman doesn't want to sit there and having sliders coming at him and dips and dives, So if you got a kid that's throwing across from third to first, and you see the ball doing this, he's not finding seams. And it's amazing how many players don't know to find seams to throw the ball across the infield.
And that will become a feel thing as
you're not going to tell an 8-year-old,
right?
But as you get, for you 13, 14-year-old coaches, I used to say to my 13, 14-year-old team too, you're at home flipping up a ball, throw it in the glove,
Find it.
pull it out, find a seam, pull it out, find a seam. You gotta, if you don't do it, you're just gonna do your same old thing, grab the ball, and I'm gonna throw a change up over to third or first, you know? So,
It takes a moment to do that. I mean, anytime I grab a ball, I mean, it just becomes natural. You grab it, you find four seam. It takes literally 2 seconds, and you're not even 2 seconds. I mean, whatever. I mean, it's there. You're on it, and then you're throwing. And then that happens when you're position play. That happens as you get the ball from your glove, and then it's just right there. You just automatically find it, and that just has to become second nature to become a baseball player.
And I tell our kids, you know, understand when you throw the ball, you have two goals. One is speed and one is accuracy. And that's the most accurate throw, four-seamer. So even if it takes you a split longer to get a grip, don't just grab any grip and let her go. It's going to tail, first base is going to be chasing. Take a little extra time, get a good four-seam grip, and throw a strike. Speed and accuracy.
Exactly, throw a strike. So again, 8 and 10-year-olds, four-seam fastball only. The most successful pitchers at 8, 9, and 10 are the ones that throw strikes. That's it. It doesn't make a difference how hard they throw. There is no joke. If the ball's a strike, they're going to be successful. Everybody wants to throw a strike. Give them the best chance to throw a strike with a four-seam fastball. If they're throwing two-seamers, that thing is moving around so much, and it just becomes an inconsistent feel. All right, so four-seam fastball only. All right. 11 and 12-year-olds. Again, we continue to build on the drill. So the 11 and 12-year-olds, again, you do the tight circle, lower half mechanics, figure eight drill. All right. But now the field starts to change. The field starts to get bigger. Body starts to get bigger. Pitching distance then becomes 50 feet as opposed to 46 feet. Base paths are 70 feet as opposed to 60 feet. At this point, I didn't really talk about this, but if you want younger kids to be balanced, to be successful throwing strikes, they need to be balanced to be successful and throw strikes. If that's the case, have them learn from the stretch. Don't have them come from the windup. The less movement, in my opinion, the better. That's a personal thing, coaches. I agree, disagree.
yeah, no, especially, 8, 9, 10, 11, 10-year-olds. Yeah, you
If you can take this, the back, forward, diagonal, if you can take that out and just come from the stretch still.
Right. One of the big things, like Jack has taught Sam and everything, I mean, you don't want to have a kid doing one of these numbers, okay? Because now all of a sudden he's back, okay? His eye angle's changed, everything's different. So if he's straight on, if you are going to teach at the older levels the windup, you want to make sure if his shoulders are facing that this is how he's on the rubber, you want to make sure he steps this way. You don't want to start changing motion, right? So Sam, if Sam jumps up, he's kind of a 45 cock towards the plate. When he steps back, he's going to step back the same direction to make the turn. That's at high school level. Little guys, if you ask them, I mean, I've seen it all. I've seen arms above the head, but they'll rock way back. They're moving their side, they're dipping, they're diving. Just get them in here, get them going. Once they reach Sam's level, not saying that the stretch is probably the most used pitch anyways, out of the stretch. When you're pitching, you got somebody on base, you do something. I mean,
If you're always in rhythm.
they're ahead, right? You're ahead of the game by teaching them that.
Yep.
Okay, we can maneuver them, at 13, 12, 13, when you start the wind-up, it's easier for them to understand because they've been so used to, on the stretch, getting to this balanced position already, okay? 8 years old, just 9 years old,
Have
10 years
start
old,
there.
you're not gonna,
Have start
it's just adding that much more complication to it, and it just doesn't work. So yeah, I 110% agree.
Not to
From the
mention,
stretch.
Not to mention the fact that once these kids start playing tournaments and they're throwing from, what do we got, 5 fields, 3 fields you're throwing from, there is a hole, like legitimately a hole on the rubber. Good luck going from a windup and finding that hole consistently without losing your balance. As an adult, I don't think you can do that.
I'm gonna
dig in.
I'm gonna throw a little pet peeve of mine. If you have a kid that has a fresh mound and he goes out there and he digs himself a hole, okay?
He's running
to
laps.
China,
He's running holes.
He's running. Okay, you want to stay you want to stay tall. There's a reason why Randy Johnson, nobody liked facing him, okay? Because he's tall. So if you take a kid that's got a height advantage or anything like that, and now all of a sudden you dig a hole and now the ball's more flat coming into home plate, that's a benefit pitcher or hitter, not pitcher. Stay strong. We're not back in the Nolan Ryan era where you busted way down with your leg and got going. Stay up, stay tall. You know, don't dig a hole to China.
There's a reason Major League mounds stay to the condition they are in now. There's people working on them every single day, but you don't see a starter walk up to the mound and go, all right, here, let me dig
it out.
Let me dig a 6-foot hole before I start throwing my pitches, right?
Yeah.
So,
Just a pet peeve. I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't have brought it up, but yeah, don't
do that.
encourage them digging a hole to get in it, because now all of a sudden now they're down, and now when they're stepping up, I seen that one tournament we were at, the backside of the rubber was lower than what he was landing on.
Right.
So now all of a sudden he's throwing uphill, right? Now,
Literally uphill.
Now how is he going to get the ball down? You know what I'm saying? So if he stays up, if you just keep him tall, keep him up, it's going to help his pitching.
All right, so with 11 and 12-year-olds now, again, always still continue to build on the drills that we've taught. Tight circle, lower half mechanics, figure 8. Next drill we're going to incorporate is chin to glove. So you guys, chin to glove. All right, so full motion, need a partner, 10 to 12 feet away. Partner's going to act like a catcher. Give him a target. Okay. So this is done. You no ball, right?
No
Okay.
ball.
This is always done dry. The reason why you do it dry, you can make 100 throws dry. It's not putting strain on your arm. As soon as you put anything in your hand, whether it's a ball, a towel, a weighted ball, that counts. All right? That counts as pitches. If you do this dry, it doesn't count. All right? Yeah, go ahead.
So chin to glove. Coming up, doing the same exact thing. And my chin is going right to his point here. Now, if Stevie had his glove at his head, that would defeat the purpose of the drill because my chin is now going up and toward, like, above. He has it low, so when I go through, come up, go down, I'm receiving the weight on my front side, my head's going down, I'm staying directional. This drill's all about receiving your weight out here, chin down, going directional towards your partner, and finishing in the correct spot. Okay, so it's a huge drill.
front side drill, right?
It's an all drill. It's an all drill, front side. Yep, keeping this tucked, keeping this going. But this drill, I'd say for me, is probably the most important drill as far as
You can do this from the stretch too. So like we were talking before, not doing the windup, you can do this from the stretch as well. The biggest thing is, like he said, is making sure that your chin is going to his glove. And as you see, when he comes down, you'll see a lot of kids at that younger age, when they come and they receive, this leg locks out. Okay? Now to bring everything through and try to get your chin to that glove, it becomes very, very difficult. So what will they do? They'll drop their arm down, they'll go to the side, they'll try to adjust, because most of these kids are athletic enough to adjust. So if you don't see him come here, come out and follow through and being directional, like Sam said, towards the glove, red flag should pop up and go, okay, why isn't he going there, right? So do it again, Sam.
So again, when he's going through the drill, he's reaching out. He's extending his when he's releasing the ball, he's releasing the ball out in front of him, right? You heard the snap right around this area here, okay? Do it again. So do it 2 more times. 1 out. You hear the snap there? Release it up higher. Throw 70 miles an hour, not 90.
Okay.
See, could you hear where it came from? It came from up here versus out here. That's the difference. I mean, again, I'm left-handed. 70, 80, 90, all right? If you're releasing out here, you're not getting full potential as far as you're getting everything out of your motion.
And that definitely looked awkward too. Like I felt totally awkward in that position. So if you can get kids just to feel themselves reach out and go and try to touch their partner's glove, that's going to make a world of difference.
So at 8, 9, 10, 11, you're probably not going to hear the arm snap as much as what you're hearing with him.
Yep.
Okay? But if you do as a coach hear that arm snap, you go,
Okay.
boom.
We got a picture.
We got something going on, right? It just, go through it again, Sam. Again,
Right. So
senior versus a younger kid, so you're going to have some things that,
These
yeah.
guys pop.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Nope, yeah, touch the glove.
Start on the stretch. Here, start into rubber, the yellow line. Chin draw. Follow through. There it is.
Yeah, I heard it. So hold on. So he's obviously a height difference, so your partner move up. Your partner would move up closer to get that chin to the glove.
Chin to glove.
Because if you leave him too far back, right, he's going to think chin to glove is going to be, oh, I got to reach out this way. No, we're trying to get him to go downhill, down towards the target. So as a coach, so get back up there. So as a coach, when you're seeing them, okay, if I'm got my assistant coaches and I'm going to do this drill, I'm going to do little checkpoints. I'm going to go, yep, I'm going to make sure his glove is back. Okay, I don't want it just kind of be this way. I don't want it in the center of his body. I want it back here. So as you see that, oh, move him back a little bit, okay? Up. Yep, go. Yep. There's other little checkpoints, so do it again. So now put your leg up. I can go to him, stop. Okay? Go to make sure that he's got his balance, away he goes. Yep. There's all little, you know, granted you don't have a ton of time with these kids. You give them 2 hours a week, 3 hours a week maybe. But just having this, being able to check, and you can check little things. You know, don't be scared to adjust them, because at this age, they are going to soak it in like a sponge. You get to this age, it's hard to change. It's hard to change. So if we get them here, you know, keep going. The other thing is with the balance on this one, I don't think that's coming up next, but if, stand straight up. Yep, go to your checkpoint. So see how he wants to lean back a little bit? Okay, as a coach, when I see that, I'm gonna go through your whole motion. Yep, go through. So I'm just gonna put my hand on his back, not let him tip all the way back. And just by doing that little thing, go through your thing, he's already corrected it. Okay, so the one time I went up to it, he felt my hand on the back, he's like, why is coach doing that? The second time I put his hand on his back, he goes, oh, now I get it. I'm not supposed to be leaning back. And he switched it. They change it. They can change it that fast. So I'll leave and go to a different player, and I'll come back. Oh, as soon as I walked away, what did he do? Went to it. But the more repetition you get doing that, the quicker they're going to adjust, because at this stage is awesome.
The other thing
Quick
is,
thinking.
this is a two-man drill, so this guy's watching this guy do what he's gonna do next.
Yep.
So he can give him immediate feedback, and he's also learning while he's leaning back a little bit, I don't wanna do that, so it's give and take here. This guy's not just sitting there, but
Yeah.
he's watching him go through the motion and critiquing him. How's he doing?
Good. Absolutely. Yep.
So again, this is one more drill for 11 and 12-year-olds, glove to chest.
Yeah.
Okay? Very similar looking drill. All right. Very similar looking drill, glove to chest. You're going to literally put the glove on that opposite pec. All right? You're setting it there. So I'm left-handed, that's why I do this. All right? This drill, this is going to really help with trunk rotation. Again, you're taking front side out. So if you're taking away elbow to hip, you have to generate it then from your hips, right?
Right.
So go ahead.
So another big thing, so I'm here, backpack, leg up. With this hand, a lot of guys want to either tuck it inside here, have them set it right on top of here, okay? So when we're going from here, I got my glove on my chest, it's a little bump up with my leg, so it's simulating what I'm actually going to do when I'm pitching. So it's here.
This drill does a lot. Sam likes chin to glove, which is great, but especially with the younger kids working on getting trunk rotation and acceleration from power position down, you are taking your front side, you're taking your glove hand out, which is huge, because then you have to use your butt and your core to get, and your hips, to get everything moving forward and to get over that front side.
So as Sam, as you watch his balance now, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-olds aren't going to have the same balance. But one of the good things, so where Caden was leaning back, okay, one of the good things as a coach you're going to be able to see, he's on the balls of his feet. Drop your heel. As soon as he drops his heel, you can already see his posture change. His posture, now he's ready to lean back, okay? You go up on the balls of your feet just a little bit, his posture changed to the correct way to go, okay? Which is keeping nose over toes. Little thing for kids to say, okay, nose over toes, you're here, you want this over your feet, you don't want back here. So on this drill, as you do your balance, if you're not on the balls of your feet, you're gonna see these young kids arch back. Okay, so nose over toes, good balance, and do it against them. And the other big thing is why we want glove, and I don't know if we really explained it. We want glove on backpack. This drill I like the most because you can see all the little nuances, right? When he comes out, we call it the big C. He comes out with the ball, he's bringing it by his hip and going up, okay? He's not going here. This isn't right. We don't want to do this. We want to buy, the reason why we're doing this drill is we want to buy our arm time to get to our position or get to home plate, right?
Which in turn uses your legs.
Which is in turn using your legs, right? So you can see a lot of little things just from this drill. For one, where's his balance? And now I'm not expecting an 8-year-old to stand here, 10-year-old to stand here like he's doing, okay? But little things you can see in this drill just by because you now broke it down. Now he's here. Is he ripping it out this way? Is he coming out? Where's that ball? We want to make sure we're creating big C coming out.
And by having that, does anybody have any questions? By having that glove, having the glove on the chest here, on the backpack, you're automatically then you're simulating this right here. So it automatically gets you in this position no matter what. And that's what's huge. You're not coming from the center.
Because look how much longer that buys you got to buy your arm time to get there. If he's from the middle or the front, now look how long his arm path has to be when he just moves it. Now all of a sudden you're coming way here. Instead of back here, it comes in and comes out. Now you got to buy your arm time to go here. And that's where you see younger kids truly, if they're in the middle of their body, when they're coming, that's where all of a sudden you start seeing arms coming out because their legs they're already strided out. So they should be, by the time they're here, they should be already here getting ready to go. Well, they're going to be back in here. That's where you start seeing balls slide. You say, wow, he threw 4 strikes really good, and then all of a sudden he gets into 10 pitches where he's not correct. My guess is it's normally arm path. Okay, and that's where this drill, when you get them up and get them going, you can really see where they're at.
And so from the dugout, the instruction would be, hey, it could be just as simple as glove to chest, and that might be the verbal cue to say, okay, arm path's got to be right. All right? Or that's when if you start seeing it, that's when you say, hey, umpire, time. Walk out to the mound, talk to the pitcher, say, hey, what are you feeling? How's it going? All right? Hey, saw a couple things. Just, hey, remember that glove to chest drill, all right? Get your balance right. There's just a verbal cues that you can then do. Use that timeout wisely. Don't call that timeout because it's hot. It's got to be.
And what you don't want to do is you don't want to go out there and over critique them and say, hey, you're not bringing your ball out here. It's not coming here. You go glove to chest. Remember, you tell them, knocking on the door. You tell them little things that they go, boom. Oh, that's what it is. Not, hey, you're not breaking at your highest point. You're not doing. God, if you do that, they're going to look at you and go, oh my God, coach, I'm just trying to get out of this inning without having 15 runs scored on me. Okay, it's those little cues that you give them, glove to chest, knocking on the door, big C, that type of thing that they're going to pick up on right away. They'll go, oh yeah, we've done that drill. I know what it is.
All right, so 11 and 12-year-olds. Let's talk about then the pitches. Again, 4-seam fastballs are bread and butter still. 2-seam fastball. The pitcher's got to be able to throw strikes. If he can throw strikes with the 4-seam fastball, then start to incorporate the 2-seam fastball. I think that if he can't throw a strike with the 4-seam fastball, he's not throwing a strike with the 2-seam fastball. So if he's able to throw strikes, then incorporate the 2-seam fastball because you want to get movement then as the hitters then start to time them up and go, okay, got it. Well, you add a little movement to it, and then that messes. I mean, it doesn't take a lot on the bats. I mean, especially with the bats that they're coming out with now. If you're off just a little bit now, that ball's going to be dead. It's not flying off the bats like how it used to anymore. So, 2-seam fastball is going to either run in or out. When does it do that? Well, it depends on where your finger pressure is and how you're going to grip it. We're not going to go big time into that, but you can grip it you can either have both of your fingers, on the long part of the horseshoe, and then you can work on finger pressure with your middle finger or finger pressure with your index finger, or you can have your 2 fingers across the horseshoe. I personally like this better because I knew that when I would hold it like this and just throw it normal, my ball would tail away. And so I knew that if I was throwing a 2-seam fastball, I was going to start it middle of the plate on a righty and have it break in, or I was going to break away, and then I was going to start it on the middle of the plate and break it in and just jam the heck out of a left-handed batter. That's how I was throwing that pitch.
To be honest with you, I would say between 8, 9, 10, and 11, I would stick with 4-seam and maybe a changeup. Okay, 12, maybe nibble, 13, 14, yeah, maybe experiment with two seams. Okay. Curveballs, I know everyone wants to throw a curveball. I didn't let these guys throw a curveball till they were 13. Just because one, their bodies are still, I mean, they're still growing at 13 too, but I don't think a lot of kids have the mental aptitude to understand that this isn't a curveball, right? Oh, I want to make the ball break. Well, we start doing this, everything's not working right. Instead of understanding that a curveball is a fastball, just at the end we turn around and we drop fingers, we pull over thumb. I just
Yeah. Curveballs later.
Yes.
Curveballs later.
Yeah, again,
Later, only later.
arm surgery, you know, I mean, not that it was because we threw curveballs, but the longer we can prolong them, you know, from doing it, I don't think a 12-year-old tournament trophy is worth blowing out their arm. I want them to be great high school, college players, not great 12-year-old tournament players. So,
John Spoltz, everybody's old enough to know who John Spoltz is, right? Or you, right?
Yeah.
All right. So John Spoltz says slider, 25 years old. All right. Period. Because you've got these guys that are now throwing so much harder, so much earlier. Their tendons and ligaments. Yes, their muscles are big and they can do that, but their tendons and ligaments. I mean, that's why you're seeing Tommy John after Tommy John. You've got guys that are throwing mid to upper 90s, 18, 19, 20, 21. They're getting batters. They're nasty. I mean, straight up nasty. They're throwing these sliders hard. I mean, a slider is thrown as hard as a fastball. A lot of strain, a lot of torque. You have to throw it hard. And if you're throwing sliders and breaking pitches at 18, 19, 20, you're going to blow it out. John Spoltz didn't throw his slider, which was nasty, until he was 25.
the big thing is you know, a lot of guys you hear about circle chains and change up. Little kids' hands ain't big enough to do a circle change.
Pitchfork.
Okay? Pitchfork it. Get it back in. What we were just talking about, holding the ball lightly. Bury it. Get it back in there. You'd be amazed at a 12-year-old tournament if you have a pitcher that throws fairly decent speed-wise and you teach him how to throw a changeup, which is same arm path, same everything. You'd be amazed at how many strikeouts that young man's going to get. It's changeup. Yeah, and to be honest with you, I think the changeup in our area is kind of a lost art form because you don't see even a lot of high school guys with good changeups. They always go to this, you know, and they're not very good, and they get tattooed for 350 feet most of the time. You know, changeups. If we can get that down at this level, understanding burying the ball, getting out there, it's going to benefit us greatly.
Changeup's a dirty pitch because it's easier to control as well. I mean, you really can work that inside and outside. It's such an important pitch to be able to throw. And again, changeup for, you know, again, we're talking incorporating changeup to 11 and 12-year-olds, maybe an advanced 10-year-old, maybe.
Get it over the plate.
The 11 and 12-year-olds, again, we're talking pitchfork buried in their hands if they've got small hands. I don't know how many guys are going to have a circle change.
Not many.
So
13, 14-year-old, you know, when their hands are a little bit bigger, yeah, they can get it. I got small hands, I couldn't throw it.
So,
You know, so that's bury it back in.
four-seam fastball grip for a four-seam fastball, add an extra finger, put it back in the hand because you throw it literally the same speed. You throw it just like your fastball, it comes out of your hand slower. And hitters are going to be so far out in front at 11 and 12.
And at the levels you guys are coaching, when you ask your kid to throw a changeup, this is what he's going to do. Slow it down. He's going to come here, he's going to slow his arm way down, and he's going to try to push it. And the biggest thing that you can do to him is just say, nope, fastball, think fastball. Just like you threw your fastball, you throw your changeup. Same arm speed, same everything. Even if it's only 4 or 5 miles an hour different, you gas a fastball past that batter, you throw them a changeup, they're not going to, at that age, they're not going to see it. They're not going to understand it. Maybe an upper level hitter might, but not many, maybe, right?
Okay, so
We got time.
doing okay?
Yeah.
All right. So last one, 13, 14-year-olds, because that's, you know, this is who we're talking to now. Again, we continue to build on these previous drills. Tight circle, lower half, figure eight, shin to glove, glove to chest, okay? Those are the drills when you say, okay, pitchers, we got 15 minutes, tight circle, glove to chest. That's how we want, eventually that's how it's going to be at the high school level for sure. And so we need to be doing that at the younger level, all right? Again, 8, 9, and 10-year-olds, it's just the three: tight circle, lower half mechanics, figure eight, and then it continues to build the older that we get. So then eventually practices then are going to be so much more efficient once these kids know exactly what drills they need to do. So with 13 and 14-year-olds, I just kind of have, you know, I've talked with Jack about this. We're not trying to build robots here. kids need to be athletic. There's a few things that they need to hit that are non-negotiable, but once they hit those things, the kids got to be kids. They got to be athletic. I mean, if you look at, what the heck, who's the lefty for the Dodgers? Why can't I? Clayton Kershaw. It looks like it's painful when he throws. It's pretty effective to me, right? So you got to let the kids be athletic, but when he lands, I guarantee you that ball is faced towards second base because he's lefty. So improving arm strength by way of long toss. That's how if you want kids to get stronger and not hurt their arm, get them throwing long. Throwing long as they start to go to the larger fields, we're talking 90 to 110, 120 feet. So we're talking, again, 90 feet, or you could also think of it as home to second. That's a good distance, all right? To when you're throwing long and throwing hard, that ball should be on a line at that distance, all right?
You shouldn't be seeing kids doing that, like when you're throwing a long toss. It shouldn't be, I got to get it to my buddy, so I'm going to sit here and
Air it
do one
out.
of these numbers, air it out.
Air it out has its purpose,
Right.
but not at that distance. So if the kid can't get it that far, well, that's too far.
Right.
Get it in. It's got to be on a line, but it's got to be extended and certainly further than the distance that he's throwing home.
So one of the big things from the younger levels when I was coaching these guys, and I've seen is when they're doing long toss and stuff like that, is kids don't, for some reason nowadays, follow their throw. So when you're doing a long toss and they come through and they let the ball go, they'll stop, right? Get them as they're doing long toss, as they throw,
Exaggerated.
to follow that throw. Let that leg, let their lower half come through. If you got a kid throwing and he stops and does one of these numbers, okay, deceleration of your arm, I mean, we can get real technical, that's not good. Okay, because now all of a sudden you're going here, this is going forward, this is going to lock out, it's going to hurt this, it's going to hurt his shoulder. You got to get them to step and follow through. I made these guys over exaggerate where they actually ran 3 or 4 steps, right? Sit here, step, they throw the ball, 1, 2, 3, 4, they come back. That way it gets them, one, it's getting them directional, it's getting them to go towards their target, okay? And it helps solve a lot of issues where arm angle and stuff like that could get real technical, but that's a good view from the coach's standpoint that you can go, if Bobby's stopping here, okay, we got to make sure that he keeps on going, so.
And if he's stopping here, then immediately you have to identify, okay, we got to do chin to glove.
Yep.
We got to do that drill. Okay.
Yep.
So boom, then you have the chin to glove drill, do that a few times, and then eventually get him then, as he's throwing long, he's going to be able to, get his momentum coming forward further and really come forward through his front side.
And make sure they understand that if they don't get it to their partner on the line and it's a one bouncer, that's good, that's all right. Okay, it's stretching out those muscles, stretching out the arm.
It doesn't make a difference where
Yeah.
you are.
Yes.
At 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We want guys peaking like in May
Yeah.
when they're 17 and 18.
Yeah.
That would be ideal if we want to win state. So, drill that we incorporate with 13 and 14-year-olds is shoot the curve. All right. So shoot the curve, front foot, 90 degree, front foot in front, okay? Then back foot coming straight back, okay? You want a solid base.
You don't want this.
All right, solid base, because again, that's when you release the pitch, it's going to be coming from behind you. So that's the purpose of
This is basically, if you do this, this is basically saying he's pitching this way, right? So this is getting everything, they're going to hear directional a ton from us at the upper level. Everything needs to be directional in hitting and throwing and fielding. You need to be directional. You need to be going the same direction that you need to go. So directional is moving your body and your arm the same direction.
All right, so a breaking pitch is thrown like a fastball, except for the last few moments. Go ahead.
Okay, so another thing we want to add about the base, we don't want kids, a lot of kids will come up to this drill and do this. That's the last thing we want to do because now they're going to be off balance and it's just not going to be the right feel for how you're supposed to finish. So again, what I say to guys is heel outside your knee. Okay, that's just kind of a simple thing. Heel outside your knee. Obviously now my heel's inside my knee. So heel
So
outside
going
my
back to that, not to jump, but going back to when he was doing glove to chest or glove to chin, where he says he's receiving his body weight, this is how you're receiving your body weight. Okay? You don't want to receive your body weight this way. So this is just another another point of he's receiving himself out there with that field, getting out in front of him, receiving himself out there.
Okay, so shoot the curve. Now I'm gonna do it in steps to simplify it, but this is gonna be an all one motion. So it's gonna be here. We're gonna want kids to turn, okay, again, that sight, your foot, your shoulder, your target, hands at your backpack, go through your arm motion, and stop here. Okay, so if I make a gun with my hand, your fingers are gonna be pointing down and your thumb's gonna be pushing here. Okay, what a lot of guys are gonna do is they're gonna lock out this arm. That creates arm injuries, okay? We want a bent front arm and out in front. Glove is tucked here, okay? So once the kids get here, they're gonna stop, check themselves, and then come through and finish across their knee, okay? So in real time, this is what it's gonna look like.
So as you see, he's receiving himself. This is, now if we weren't doing curveball, okay, if we were doing fastball, there's fastball. That's fastball. Fastball, curveball. Fastball, curveball. That's the only difference.
Okay, so then from here, again, they stop, check themselves, and go through.
What we're trying to get away from is when we do this drill, is we're trying to get away from the old school football, I'm gonna throw the curveball like this number, right? That's not, no, that's how I was taught.
Yeah,
You know-
that's not-
you know what I'm saying? That's
of course,
how we
that's
used
how I
to
taught you. So if you're flipping it like this, all right, well, it is so obvious as a hitter. You see that, you're like, oh, thank you, because you know it. You see, I mean, it's so obvious. But if it's fastball, 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 curveball, it comes out so much tighter, and it's a more violent downward movement as opposed to that big ephus, looping curve. That ephus one, I mean, if you get a hitter that's cheating and he knows that pitch is coming, that is a home run, or at least a double in the gap.
So just, he's gonna show you, and explain, Sam, the grip of a curveball.
Okay.
This is only for 13 and 14-year-old players, okay? And I think one good thing that we should do, if you are a 13, 14-year-old coach, maybe when we get done, if you want to come up to Sam and he can show you grip, maybe explain it a little bit more, because the last thing I want you guys to walk away with is doing this wrong. Then we go take it to Bobby and he does whatever, and next thing you know, he's holding there. So this may be something where if you are a 13, 14-year-old coach and you may want to see how it's done, maybe after we work on it a little bit more.
So Jack's recommendation on this was, you can do the drill at 13 and 14. 13-year-old is more going to be a fastball drill. Do the drill at 14. He only let his kids start throwing curveballs. So he told me the last tournament at 14. That's when that happened. So if you want to introduce it at 13 and not allow it in the game, that's up to you. But it's game ready. Last tournament.
If you already have a kid throwing a curveball on your 13-year-old team,
Stop.
make sure that, for one, say, stop him.
Because he's been doing that for more.
And he was probably doing it for a long time. And then two, to understand what he was doing, have him explain it to you. And if he can't explain how to do it, I'm sure Dad will probably come up to you and say, oh, I told my kid he can do it. Well, then let Dad blow out his arm. At least you as a coach can go and try to stop it. That's... Unfortunately, in tournament coaches, I'm not saying we have them here, but you're going to see, I don't know what tournament we went to when you were 12. It was a team from Ohio, and their three best pitchers were out at 12 years old because of Tommy John surgery. And all we saw from them was a heavy dose of curveballs on every pitcher that they had. And I went to myself, no wonder why you have 3 Tommy Johns going on right now, because these 12-year-old kids are snapping off curveballs like nobody's business. So,
Kids are still growing at 12, right?
a little bit.
So yeah, you don't want to take a tendon that's still growing, wrap it on a tendon that's now broken, and then still needs to grow again. It doesn't work. You're just asking. Not good. Not good stuff. Good for the orthopedic surgeons, though. That pretty much wraps up pitching. Is there any? Oh, sorry. Oh, Rip. Sorry.
Okay, so just a basic thing. Okay, so we want to be across. We want to be.
Where's the 13, 14-year-old coaches?
Yeah, where are the 13, 14-year-old coaches?
All right, you guys might want to get in closer.
Yeah, you guys might want to come in closer. So, for me, it's kind of one of the more basic grips is you want to be across the seams, and you want your thumb to be with the seam, and your middle finger to be with the seam, okay? So for me, it's the horseshoes are over here. You got the two seams coming across. I go across those two seams, and I have my middle finger on the inside edge of one seam and my thumb right on top of the other, okay? This is gonna create that good spin. This is gonna create that good grip, that good cut on the curveball, okay? So to get a little bit more technical with it, these two fingers are going to control how fast or how many rotations the ball is going to get before it hits home plate. Your thumb is going to create the break. Okay, so the functionality of your hand during a curveball is fastball, 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 curveball, your fingers go down first, that's where the shoot comes, and then the thumb comes over. So it's a push with your thumb. Okay, so if you got a kid that's got a ball that's really tight, you see the red dot, but it's got no break whatsoever, okay, that's his thumb. That's a shoot the curve drill where you go, okay, overemphasize you pushing that thumb. If you got a kid that's got some great break, but it's really loose and doesn't have very much spin, that's your rabbit ears. It's a quick little thing, okay, your rabbit ears are going.
More fastball.
Yeah, more fastball. Most kids, their fingers are gonna go like this when they throw a curveball. So there's the slow, non-spinning curveball. Okay, so keep those two fingers together and push over. Okay, does that make sense?
So here's the younger brother's gonna get in front of the bigger brother. Here's a drill that Jack Tasher used to do in the bullpen nonstop for shooting the curveball.
Yeah, I'm doing
Grabbing it, and you're just taking your fingers and flipping it. That teaches you the rabbit ears down, thumb up, rabbit ears down, thumb up. Get that spin on it. That's the spin of the curveball right there. Doing that, boom, boom. And it's gonna take kids that are used to doing this, it's gonna take them a while to understand this.
And that's an awesome drill to do just as a coach. If you just got a little time, just start flipping up, stuff like that.
Yep, that's what you do. You gotta this has to be very, very comfortable in your hand at all times. I mean, you can YouTube videos of various, things that players can do with their hands and with the baseball, but the ball's got to be in their hand. I mean, you can't just pick it up in the spring and say, okay, got it. I mean, if it's around the house, watching TV, flip it up. I mean,
So just so you guys understand, April 29th when we do our varsity camp, this stuff that we're doing here, we're gonna be doing all the same drills in real time with the kids. So you as coaches are all welcome to come to that camp. Stand back and listen and watch and maybe get a better understanding, because we only got 2 kids here. I mean, we're gonna have our whole varsity team out there doing stuff, and you might be able to get a few more questions answered. There's a lot of stuff we just threw at you that you're probably going, oh, there's no way I'm gonna be able to get my 9-year-old or my 10-year-old team or whatever it is. Understand that, but if we don't start somewhere, we're gonna end up nowhere.
stick.
Again,
A lot of information is thrown out, but stick to the sheet. I mean,
Yep.
Again, this is first pass, so it's not incredibly well organized, but the points are there for the 8 and 10-year-olds. This is what you want to do. 11 and 12-year-olds look at 8 and 10, and 11 and 12, and 13, 14. Again, it all builds upon each other.
So I think what we'll do now is since we're kind of going pitching, throwing, if there's no questions on the pitching aspect, anybody, we'll just break down our fielding right now, and then we'll go to our hitting drills. Fielding drills is what we're going to be teaching is the 1-2 field. A couple simple drills that Jim brought in when I was a freshman in high school, so that's how many years back that we've been doing this, but it's encompassing. Most teams practice this. It's just understanding getting these kids from 8 to 14, their feet in the right position, how to receive the ball, how to field the ball. So why don't you two go through and coach you? You want to have them start with some of the drills that we're going to do?
Yeah, we kind of go backwards. So we'll show you perfect fielding position, then we kind of work backwards. So go ahead.
All right, so yeah, I'll get on.
All right, now you'll notice he's got that toe kind of lined up with the instep. So if this is my throwing hand, this is my glove hand, it's just like that. So it's a staggered base. Now why do you do that? Because if your feet are parallel, put them parallel. Now I come up pushing, he has no balance. By having him staggered, now he's got a stable, I can't move him. Steve's doing the same thing. You also notice the width of their feet. They're double shoulder width, so I'll go single shoulder width. just stand there, go shoulder width, double shoulder width, instep, just like that. So you want to get wide. We got a lot of younger players, particularly, not these guys, because they've had, again, a lot of repetition, but they field the ball like this. That does not look athletic. You can't get low. So you got them wide.
Perfect
Good
fielding
ball.
position, flat back.
Flat back's kind of a key, glove extended, because your eyes are between, or you should be able to see the glove, the ball enter the glove. So your eyes are here, glove, ball. Both guys are doing a good job. You don't want to field the ball back here. That's jabbing and stabbing. That way you may catch it, but it's not a good way to do it. So you got to see the ball enter the glove. The other thing that we don't want is this arm just stiff. That's called bad hands. And you don't give any give. So nice and relaxed, and then you just go with the ball a little bit. Get underneath it, go with it. So that's perfect field. Stevie will do it here again. So again, toe to instep, hands extended, flat back. Eyes behind the glove.
So to get to that position, you know, like he said, just like Coach was doing before, you can start with the whole team on the line, step it out, get in that position, get down, get ready to go. The other thing when you get in that perfect fielding position, Stevie, okay, there's some drills that you can do. See how he's got his hands? We don't want to do the alligator anymore. This. Okay, because why? Put your hand in alligator position. Why? What's he doing right now when that ball's coming?
Can't see the ball.
Can't see the ball. Okay? So we want that hand here. We want that hand close, but we don't want it blocking the view. Okay? We want it here on the side somewhere down close so there's that transfer when we get going, but we don't want it like this. I mean, at 8-9 maybe it's okay, but if we started at 8-9, guess what we're doing? That 9-10 they're doing the same thing, and when they become freshmen they're doing the same thing. Okay? So hand here, hand down, over to the side. Yep.
From 10-year-old's perspective, this is what it's going to look like. Which is going to look weird. Both of you guys do.
So get on the yellow line again.
So this is how it would be instructed. You know,
All right, now
to guys that don't understand their bodies.
You want this toe to your instep. Okay? You just go one shoulder width. So your shoulders are this wide. Get closer. Get this foot closer up here. All right, that's one shoulder width. Now go another step out here. Back up. Your toes got to line up with your instep. Now you want a flat back, extend your hands.
Put your hands up.
Get the glove open to the target. There you go. There you go. That's perfect.
Yep, good. So here,
Rear
stand
end
back
down
up,
a little
guys.
bit.
Yep.
Rear end down. There you go. Raise up.
Okay, stand up, boys. Stand up. So here's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna go feet together. Here's how I taught all my kids. And we're gonna take your throwing hand, take this foot, and we're gonna put it on the instep like this, so your feet are like this. Okay? Now we're gonna go one shoulder width apart. Another shoulder width apart. Okay? Now we got our legs out, our feet are still separated. If they're not, gotta make sure we got it back. Yep. Now we're gonna turn around, we're gonna get our butts down like this.
Elbows on
Okay?
knees.
Now we're gonna put our glove out in front. There, perfect fielding position.
That's perfect.
Rep it, rep
That's
it,
perfect.
rep it, rep it.
Now, if you do that enough, you're going to get muscle memory.
Yep.
Muscle memory, you're going to feel it right away. Sam can get up there and do it right now without thinking about it. Flat back, hands extended.
And that's exactly how he's going to receive that ground ball. I mean, he's going to time it, step. I mean, it's right
So
there.
that's perfect fielding position, like we said. So now drills on perfect fielding position is you can have a. Get the perfect fielding position. So drills, what we would do is he's in this position, Stevie.
They can do it.
We can do ground ball, he receives it. Okay, you can do a skip, receives it. Okay, ready? Yep, good job. Okay, ground balls, they can do that with a partner. Pair up, side to side, good ground balls, good throwing.
One thing you don't want is you don't want him to go here and then drop the glove down. The glove's got to be on the ground. As soon as I roll it, his glove's already down. I'm just going to roll it to him, the glove is down. Now bring it up a little bit and then drop it. This is the wrong way. Now he's kind of going down. Your only motion should be up and out, not down and up.
The other thing to remember is too, if you see young kids doing this, get down, bring your elbows way back. We don't want elbows way up in here trying to feel the ball. We want elbows slightly bent, receiving the ball, coming up, yep. So now, stand up, Squeak. To get to that position, we call it 1-2 field. So that's perfect fielding position. This is gonna be the 1-2 field position. So demonstrate for you. So what we're gonna do, so what I would do as a drill, I would take a ball, yeah, set it out in front.
We'll put it right on this line because we're gonna gauge that, this is the roll of the ball, right down that line. Where do you want it to line up?
Left shoulder.
Left shoulder.
Left side shoulder.
Left side shoulder. So he's out here, he is not here, because this is not athletic. That's what a lot of kids do. So what you want to do, you want to get that outside your glove shoulder. He's going to take one step, 2 steps, out, you're out, right? And then go down. So it's 1-2 field. So it's ball on left shoulder, or left side, step, there you go.
See how he's
Flat
centered
back,
himself? Yep.
heel to toe, hands extended. It is not center the ball and do that. It is smooth. Flat back. There you go.
So that's perfect fielding position to
Let's have
1-2
you try
field.
it.
So, yep,
Remember now, where do you want the ball?
your shoulder.
Line up to your shoulder. Okay. Come a little bit closer. All right, now go.
It's okay. It's no.
So, do this, back up. I want you to line up, you're running after the ball, right? So you're running. You're not like this, you're like this. So it's, if I'm down that line, move over a little bit. If I'm going down that line, I'm going 1, 2, up and out. And on 2, my glove hits the ground. 1, 2.
field. I still say that every time the ground ball is hit at the varsity level.
Okay, get back to
1-2
your-
field.
You're like this,
Yep.
you're like this, your left foot front.
Here, go real slow. Watch. This is what we're gonna do. So you're gonna start like this, okay? And we're gonna go out. You're gonna come. You're gonna take this step. You're gonna do 1. Now this foot is gonna come out over here. 2. There you go. Okay. So now, as a coach, they can self-correct. Yep. Self-correct yourself.
Then the glove goes down.
Yep. And then the glove goes down. Perfect. So we're gonna start back again in this position. We're gonna go 1. Okay. 2. We're gonna get to that. Yep. Now glove goes down. There you go. So as a coach, you can see when you go 1-2 field, that's mental 1-2, so you can get them going 1, 2, the glove is down and they're fielding the ball. Yes. The other thing too is we don't want, I don't like seeing infielders running like this. Okay, because now all of a sudden we're going to get flippers, we're going to get everything else. When you're going after a ball, you want your hands at their sides, not elbows back. You want your hands at your sides. So when you're coming, it's here, okay? Not this. It's here. So when you're coming to field the ball, 1-2 field, it's a quarter turn, get in the glove, boom, and go, okay? Not down, not straight out. Comfortable.
Yeah, you don't run for a fly ball like this.
Yeah.
You run like this. And then you put your glove up to catch it, same with the ground ball. You don't run like this. You run like this, drop the glove down on 2. So it's 1, 2. All right.
Yep.
Good.
Yep. Slow her down a little bit. Yep.
1, 2. Now what you can do is have him freeze, so he's going, go ahead and do it. 1, 2, field.
Yep. There.
And just check yourself. Glove open. Hand out here. Flat back. Very good.
Any questions on the 1-2 field portion of it? Now, the next step through that is see if you do 1-2 field, okay? We're going to do 1-2 field. Now, we want to get to first base. We want to get to second base. We want to get to wherever, let's say we're going to first, okay? So now transfer to go to first. Step through, okay? That's a step through drill. So as you see, everything we just talked about pitching, where he's going, where his instep is going and his front shoulder is going, this is happening right now. Go.
Now both feet are moving at the same time. So he's going here to here, and his foot's going here. He's going the direction he's throwing. So if he's a shortstop, he's gonna both feet pop. Go
Yep.
ahead, pop.
So
like that.
to go
Stay
back
low.
to put it all together, so go do 1-2 field. I would always do a cadence to my team is go 1-2 field, pop your feet,
Throw.
throw.
Follow through. There you go. He follows through.
So that's just another drill that, you know, as we get going, that's gonna be taught all the way through. We do this at the high school all the time, okay? So 1-2 field, pop your feet, throw. Okay?
Now, the other thing we do is we talk about ready position. The ready position is when the pitcher is in the stretch or he starts his windup. It's a very short period of time. Before that, you're thinking about how many runners are on, what's the count, the situation you're in. Ready position, go ahead and show us. You want your feet about shoulder width apart. Depends if you're a middle infielder. Middle infielder is going to be a little bit more upright. Your corners are going to be a little bit lower because they're closer to the ball. Okay, but their feet are shoulder width apart. And as the pitcher starts his windup or the stretch, all they're doing is decleating with their hands extended a little bit. Just taking their cleats out of the mud. They're just like a tennis player ready to receive a serve. A little bit of movement. Why do you do that?
So you're not on your heels when the ball's hitting your direction. So
Right.
you can quicker ball.
You're quicker. You got some motion.
Now, some coaches will say that they want you to come forward. Okay, so do that. So no, they're making a creep. They're creeping. But here's the one issue I have. Not saying that's wrong, but the issue I have with that is if you're creeping here and you're coming up and all of a sudden that ball's back. Now what are you doing? Now all of a sudden you're going one direction. You got to go back the other. Or if you're creeping, you're coming in here, you're creeping, and all of a sudden you're on your left foot or you're on your right foot, and all of a sudden the ball's hit this way. You're not athletically ready to go get that ball. So by just ready position, decleating like a tennis player, you're more ready to, I mean, I don't want to move there chomping, right? It's just a little tennis player run.
Okay, the other thing is too, you don't want to do this too soon because you start this and all of a sudden you stop and now the ball enters the hitting zone. You want to be moving as the ball goes through the hitting zone. So you're ready to move. Not before and then stop. You see kids that do that. I don't really care for kids moving up too much. If they just want to take a step up, and then that's fine. That's kind of what we've been doing. So both you guys do it now. Once you guys do it. Okay, here I'll do the stretch. They're playing a position. I'm going in the stretch. Ready position. Okay, and then what you can do as a coach, go ahead. I'll just say ready position. Go. And point to a direction. So 3 or 4 steps. 1-2 field. Pop your feet. Throw.
So as you see, go through that again. You're popping your feet. So ready
Ready
position.
position. Right at you.
Pop
1-2
your feet.
field. Pop your feet.
So as you see, going back to pitching,
Power L.
power L, gloves here, elbows up, up, up. It's the exact same thing. The only difference is, and I don't think we're going to talk much about that or until you get higher levels, is now Sam, because he's a pitcher, what does Sam do? Sam does the big C, right? Well, he's third baseman, so he buys a little bit more time, and he's got an arm that can handle the big C. Shortstop, you're going to want to come out and be quicker, right? You don't want to do this big hand out, big C motion. But for now, at these levels, we want the big C because that's going to be better for their arm. Okay, that's what it's all about. Once we start, I mean, obviously catchers don't go this. Middle infielders are here. Okay, so before when I was saying don't let your pitchers do that, yeah, your pitchers can't do the small C's. You got to get the big C going. And once,
But that's why it's so huge that
Right.
you got to get lefty's has to have the ball pointing towards second base, righty, pointing towards shortstop.
Yep.
You have to. I mean, because like it translates every single time, every time, no matter what. Doesn't matter the position.
All right, we're going to have pros do it now. Okay, ready? Ready position. Go. Feet are moving. Hands extended. All right, charge.
1-2 field.
1-2 field. Pop your feet.
Yeah, so here, we're going to work on popping your feet. So we're going to get in this position right here. Okay, get in your perfect fielding position. Now, go with me, yep. So what we're gonna do is this back foot is gonna go towards our target, okay? So our target's that way. So now we got our position. This back foot is gonna come across and go. So let's watch again. Get in your perfect feeling position. We're gonna take this foot, watch me do it first. We're gonna take this foot, turn it towards our target, go, okay? So bring this foot in front here, yep, bring it over. There you go, yep. Good,
What
do it
that
again.
does too is it closes your shoulder.
Yep,
So
good.
as it comes
That way.
here, this front shoulder closes down.
There you go,
You don't
yeah.
want this. Now that's not good. You
And what
want
we
to
don't
turn it
want-
step towards the target.
What we don't want is, and Stevie, go here. What we don't, here's one of the things we don't want to do as fielders. Pop your feet, okay, just like you normally do. See how he's staying low? What we don't want, now stand up. So get in 1-2 field, stand up. Okay, we don't want to be in this position because now he doesn't have a good base. He's not there. We want to stay here. We want to stay low.
Because what has to, if he stands up and then has to throw, how does that look? So do it wrong. So stand up.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
You have nothing behind you.
That or you have to get down again. So you're
Yeah.
up and down, up and down. Your eyes are moving up and down.
So the
And
big
then
thing
your eyes
is when you break this down, this 1-2 field drill, we break that down when you say, and I always used to line up the kids on the line, and we go through this every practice.
Every practice.
Pop your feet, and if I saw a kid stand up, I go over there and I correct them, we come back and we do it again. Okay, that's the only way, it's repetition. I understand all the kids want to get in there, they want to hit 8 bombs, and they want to hit balls, we want to hit home runs. Okay, but you can't field the ball, you can't pitch the ball. I don't care how many home runs you're going to hit, you're not going to, they're not going to be successful. So it's hard to get younger guys to get that through their heads, but
That's why we're here.
that's why we're here, right? So the biggest thing and break it down real quick, the last things on the infield is 8-year-old, 8-9s, 7-8-9s, this drill. Just getting them perfect fielding position. That is huge, okay? And then the 1-2 field. You can get them, that momentum started as they get older and understand their body work, because let's be honest, they're 8, 9, they're not grown into their bodies yet. So they're gonna be awkward, they're gonna be goofy. But if you start them doing this repetition, it's gonna help them in the long run.
They'll get better balance, better agility as they go on. These guys didn't look like this when they were freshmen.
No.
They've improved. Now they're smooth athletes. You want them to glide. It's not up and down and jerking. And
Yeah, it's gonna be choppy in the beginning, right? You're gonna, at 8, 9, 10, they're gonna come out there and they're gonna go 1, 2, 3. They're gonna be choppy. That, to me, that's fine. Okay? That means at least they're mentally thinking about what they're doing and that they're trying to apply what we're trying to teach them. That's fine. If they're still doing this at 14, okay, then we may have an issue. But the younger levels like that, I'm fine with them being a little bit choppy, right?
They're not athletic yet. They're not
Yeah.
athletic yet. Some are. I mean, there are definitely some kids. There's always a handful that are super advanced and just they're smooth and they got it, and that's great.
I got 2 kids right here. Sam had to work his one off every time on these drills. Okay? He worked and he worked and he worked. Steve, I'd show him once and he'd do it. Okay, so I had to learn how to coach the kid that has all the heart in the world and wants to get it done. And I had to learn how to motivate and get him to do it, multiple times because he could just do it. So it's understanding your players too, right? You're gonna have some kids that are gonna go out there, they're gonna be, oh my God, they're really good. And you're gonna have 4, they're gonna look at you and go, what are we doing? Why are we doing this again? I just wanna go for a sand, or I wanna go do. Those are the ones that you never know what they're gonna become. Those are the ones you gotta, unfortunately, put the extra time in,
so here's a drill you can put it all together.
Yep.
Come over here, Sam. Come here. Okay. So you show. So I'm going to have these guys work together. If I show them the baseball, that means ready position. So I'm ready. Not to back up a little bit. Okay, move the up there.
I got it.
All right. So this simulates the windup or the stretch. Hold the ball, ready position. Roll the ball. 1, 2 field. Pop your feet. Okay. Now ready position. Charge. 1, 2 field. Pop the feet. Ready to throw. Now one thing we really didn't talk about. 1, 2 field is the last 2 steps. It may take you 5 steps to get to the point where you go 1, 2 field. So this is a timing play, right? Back up and charge a little bit. So the last 2 steps are important. All right, here we go. Ready position, charge, 1, 2, field. Times it perfectly. Get it over here. Ready position, charge the ball, 1, 2, field, top the feet. There you go.
Again,
So let's
and remember that glove side, the ball's coming on the glove side, right? When you're timing it up? Yeah. So glove side, 1, 2, field, here it is.
So a lefty has to do with his right foot.
I was never short side.
That's why we play him at first base or outfield. All right, you want to do some drills too? Just
Do you want to say that?
Yeah, let's see what the look at, and then we'll go to hitting real quick. We'll get to the hitting. We have 5 drills here.
so just move the ball up. That's right position.
On the line? On the right line? See that guy?
Okay, when he holds the ball up, he's in the windup. So you're in the right position. Hold it up. Get up. And then it's away from you. All right. One, field. A little late. That's all right. Throw it. Don't throw so hard. Just throw it nice and easy. Give me a chance. Hands extended. All right, good. All right. Now you do it. Roll it to him. Great position. Feet are moving. Now, when you feel that ball, alright, so it's a timing. You don't have the timing yet. That's the idea.
That's, see, it starts here, and then it continues to grow. And then
Okay. But there's 4 or 5 keys where you need to get to your bat to in order to be successful, you know, at the upper level. So one of the drills that we're going to do is, if you guys want to come over to the cage, little guys don't know who Ichiro is, okay? But Ichiro has about over 4,000 hits between Japan and Major League Baseball. And like we said before, the Japanese do everything back, okay? And what I mean by that, when you watch Major League Baseball, you'll see them, they come up here and they do a whirling bat flip and everything, but to a certain point, every Major League Baseball swing stops here, okay? So he's gonna take his swing, take your swing, do something fancy there. Okay, so now he's done swinging. Now he's gonna correct himself to where the swing stops. As you see, his hands are turned, his shoulders and everything straight, he's on his back heel. The key to this drill is now we're gonna bring this bat back through the zone above our waist, above the tee, to get us back to our launch position. Okay, because what'll happen is do it the way normal kids do. So they're gonna hit off the tee, they're gonna come, I'll bring the bat back. Yep, they're gonna bring their back short. Okay? Not a good drill, because all that does is when they hit off a tee, I'm just sitting here hitting off a tee. I'm just sitting here. This is boring. When am I going to get out in the field and hit bombs, right? When am I going to get out in the field and see how far I can hit? This drill goes back to getting at the end of your swing, making them think, okay, I got to adjust myself, check myself, right? If the bat is, he's strong here, if the bat's down here, no good. He's strong here, if the bat's up here, no good. Here. Now it brings him back, muscle memory, back through the zone, come back at his launch position. Now you give him a cookie where he can eat, or where he can hit. Now he comes through, hits, gets back in the cage is what he should do. Okay, brings it back, and he's following it through. Go. Oh, roll over. Okay? So one of the big things that you want to be able to tell your team and your players is on any drill that you're doing for hitting, quantity doesn't help you. Quality is what you want. So I don't care if you come here and do the Jeter drill or the Ichiro drill 25 times and your buddy did it 5. If you did it 25 times wrong, your buddy that only did it 5 did it right as ahead of you. Okay? So as a coach and as your assistant coaches are helping and what you're seeing, make sure that when you are one-on-one with the kid, because I know you're not going to be one-on-one with them all the time. Okay, that just isn't going to happen. Okay, but when you are, these are the things that you want to kind of look for. So this is a good drill just to get them to understand bat path, okay? Bat path. We do it every day in our drills here at the high school, every day. And you'd be amazed after you do this drill. So you can do this drill off the tee, you can do this drill front toss, flips, okay? Anything, just to get them, make sure that their biggest thing that they're doing is coming back above their weight. So correct yourself, no, yep, correct yourself, come back, go. Okay, that's the Ichiro drill. It doesn't seem like there's much going on there, but that's really teaching them bat path, bringing it back through. We don't want bringing it back through here. It's hitting the ball, good hands, bat path back through. Now, do the elbow one. So this is a slot drill. This is going to come through. This, I think, is going to be really good for the younger levels because it gives you automatic feedback, okay? And it gives the player automatic feedback. Yep. So all the way up through high school and everything, we didn't do a lot of this at open gym because at open gyms I can't coach, coach can't coach, right? So in order to try to explain this, I got a coach. So as the season now starts up on Monday, we are going to be doing a lot of the slot drill, okay? And what this does, what this is going to prove, or so first I'm going to have him demonstrate and then I'll explain it. So elbow goes in his shoulder, or in his elbow, or ball goes in his elbow. Okay, so as you see, the tennis ball came out this direction. Okay, what that's doing now is what we're trying to get going is we're trying to make sure that his elbow is coming inside to his body, going directional towards the ball. Okay, if you are a looper or a big swing guy, right, what's going to happen is you're going to come here and if your hands go out, the ball is going to drop right up in front of you, right? We want that ball, as he's going to do it again, we want that ball going either straight or towards the side. That's an instant reminder to that kid if it drops out that his hands are going away from his body. Instant. Okay? That's a slot drill. We do two different slot drills. Do the slot drill underneath. Yep. Now this one is for the kid that the dad has told him his whole life that you've got to put your elbow up. Okay? What we don't want to do on the hitting sequence is we don't want young kids to take the bat and put it back here like this. All right? That's called bat wrap.
Do not want bat wrap.
We do not want bat wrap at all. Because now what we have to do, it's going to take that much longer to get the barrel of the bat all the way through to the hitting zone. Okay? So dad that said put your elbow up. Okay? Put your elbow up. Normally kids are back in here bat wrap behind. It's just a lot longer swing. We want to be quick and short to the ball. Now you're going to hear Major League Baseball players in colleges and high school talking about how you'll hear Donaldson. Okay, Donaldson does this. Donaldson comes leg up, and he takes the bat and he lays it flat, and he rips it through the zone. Okay? He's 225 and built like you know what. Okay, he's huge. Anybody you're taking your son or daughter to or whatever for hitting is trying to do that, they're not muscular enough to do it. So we're going to teach at the high school level, quick to the ball. Okay?
There are 1,200 people that are drafted every year. That's it. 1,200.
There isn't one kid that I know of in the FBA right now that can do what upper levels are trying to teach. And I've seen and heard of travel teams trying to do it. Okay? It boggles my mind that you're going to try to get a 12-year-old kid to hit like Donaldson or hit like a big name. They can't. That just doesn't make sense. So to me, what makes sense is becoming quick and powerful through the ball for his age level, okay? So this drill with the slot drill is teaching him to keep elbow in. Elbow comes in, it's an instant mechanism. You can see if he's doing something wrong, so go through it, Steve. Do it right and then do it wrong. So tennis ball never come out, right? Tennis ball never came out because he was tight to his body here, and he drove through the ball. Now, if the tennis ball does come out, it's fine if it comes out here, right? It's fine if it drops out here. It should not be dropping anywhere through the swing until the end. Okay, so do it again. So, I can tell you what one flaw he's doing right now. Okay, just by this drill. Where should the ball be going? This ball? that ball. Yep, why isn't it? So what he's doing, why the ball's not coming out, is what, again, I could talk for 6 hours on this, okay? But what happens is when he's coming in, he's staying really tight, really tight, really tight, he's getting here, and instead of coming here and extending, he's staying really tight, and now what he's doing is he's ripping through, okay? So he's ripping through the ball like this. Now, younger players at his age, or even high school players, a lot of them don't understand getting out, getting that extension. Okay, that's a hard thing to teach at a young age of getting out here. But if we can get them to keep that ball inside, and get them to this position, we're ahead of the game at the younger levels. Okay. In reality, Sam, why don't you try?
I mean, a good saying is short to the ball,
Yep.
long through it.
Yep.
Short to the ball, long through it.
That's ball. There. So he overcompensated to this extension. But that's how it's supposed to go, right? It's supposed to be tight, 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 tight. Boom, now I've hit the ball, now we want to leave the barrel of the bat on the ball for as long as possible. Okay, so do the elbow slot. So there's 2 slot drills right here. And I didn't have everything set up for him. These drills we will put in with him. I have them, I just didn't send it to him, that you guys will be able to have access to. Instant feedback. If that ball goes back over here, he's not keeping his arm in and everything going. That's the biggest key for younger players, is keeping it in. And kids are going to go, oh, that hurts. No, it doesn't. Tennis ball, it'll be fine. Okay. So, next drill that we do a lot of is
Have one of the kids do it, yeah.
oh yeah, the slot drill. Whichever one you want to start with, bud. There, yeah. Yep. Okay, so get back in your position. Okay. Do it again. Do that one again, yeah. That's fine, yep. So the other thing is to get in your position, put your elbow, put the tennis ball back in there, and hold it towards your back. Get your stance. Okay? One of the things that we don't want to do, and he's got a pretty good little swing already, is we don't want to see kids if they get out here farther. Okay, with their hands barred out here. We want to get hands nice and loose, closer to our backpack, just like in pitching. Okay? Same principle. Hands are here, backpack. Hands aren't here. Hands ain't, You'll hear a lot of guys say hands up, which is okay. Get your hands up, because that's helping get the ball down. But comfortable, backside, everything's backside, hands in here. Okay? If we get out here, if he starts to get out here farther, which that drill, if I put the tennis ball in here, he's not going to be able to do if he's out here. Okay, if we get out here now we want to do this. Now we're a big loop. Now we're a big looping swing. Okay? So yeah, put the tennis ball in there. Yep, here you go. Okay, not bad. Not bad. First time doing it.
No, it's up.
Go that way.
It's like the tight one.
Nice. Nice. Do it again. Okay, so see how the ball went the opposite direction? So what do you guys think he did there? Any ideas? On a swing, why it went that way?
He wasn't long through it.
He wasn't what?
He was not long through it.
He wasn't long through it, but he also, rolled it over. He just rolled it over. So before he got to the ball, his wrists were already coming like this. He was coming like this with the bat. Okay? So keeping his hands back. Everyone always says knob to the pitcher. I don't like that term, knob to the pitcher, because that's going to teach them to really lay flat. I like better when they're in their stance, knob back down to the catcher, and as they come through, your knob is going down to the ground in front of the pitcher, not to the pitcher like this. Okay? There you go. Yep, do nothing. Let's do one more. Yep, so here we got each drill we've done and 2 slot drills.
Do the other side.
Okay. So at this age, now the tennis balls are a little bit big for the younger guys, so they make those small little, even the small little wiffle balls, those golf wiffle balls to put in there. Those will work too, obviously with the muscular high school guys that do tennis balls. So the next drill, what we're going to do is we're going to do the 45 drill, okay?
And again, take the notes because that's a good thing, but after this, we'll be compiling all the information, resending out that email. There'll be a few links.
Yeah.
Obviously these drills, I mean, it's all good stuff.
Okay, so the 45 drill. So what we're gonna do is you can do this either on a tee or front toss. With all these drills, you can do
This is called 45 closed drill, okay, because it's closed off.
Okay, so my hands are starting at our launch point where our hands meet. Hit. Now, when I hit that one into this side, my hands go too far in and then pulled over. What we want is hands going towards the ball and out here. Okay, notice that my back leg got through and my heel is off the ground, okay? So this is your hips getting into your swing and you staying inside the ball and really getting that bat out.
This is a total backside hip through drill, okay? Because right now at 9-10, if you tell a kid to get his hips through, he's just going to turn them, okay? This is him. When you close this off, the only way he can come through and get through the ball is by engaging this back hip through it, okay? If he rotates too soon, well, you really can't until you start your swing, okay? This is getting to understand him getting the feeling of his backside hip coming through.
This keeps his shoulders level. This keeps your legs in the swing. It's kind of an all-purpose drill.
Okay. We got 1 minute.
Okay.
They can do one, yeah. So help them out, make sure they get their position, yep. Oh, backside. Not bad, not bad. All right, the last drill that like I said, we got probably 40 drills that we can go through. But the last drill, one of the big things that we always want to make sure is that we're making, that they're staying backside, okay? And this goes back to kind of like a pitching drill. So we'll do the Donaldson. We call this one the Donaldson. Now I just said we don't want him to be Donaldson because I don't want him to lay down, but one thing Donaldson does really well is stay backside, okay? So what that means is he does a big leg movement with a big hand pump, okay? So the Donaldson drill is you have them stand up, and as you see, he's got his hands down by his knees up in a pitching position. Now he's gonna stride out, separate, yep. So now, as you see him come here, he strides out, and he stops. Weight is still back, okay? Shoulders ready to go, he's at a good launch position. Now, go. Okay? So weight back, strides out. Okay. That's eventually where I want you to get to, is what he just did right there. Okay, one big fluid motion where his foot comes down. Go, yep, go. But as you're breaking it down for these younger guys, I want the pause to be there. I want them to feel backside strong. I want them to feel their hips staying back. Go. see when he does it one more time, as he does it, leg up, land, shoulders pointed towards the ball, bat's in a good launch angle, okay, bat ain't laying down, bat ain't out here, good launch angle, okay. His weight is on his backside. If you watch good hitters, they don't stride out, their head doesn't move, their head stays right in that one position, okay. So, leg up, down, go. So in the beginning of the season, this is how we would progress. Like open gyms, this is what we did. Okay? Now we put it all together, like you were doing before. Okay, leg up, down, go. Well, we want to make sure those do it where you're first. What you don't want to have them do in this drill is start falling forward as he's swinging. Okay, fall forward. Way to be over dramatic. But that's what you don't want them to do in this drill. You don't want them to be here and start swinging as they're falling forward. We want them to really understand feeling that backside as they come down. And it's just like a pitching drill. It's just like, here it is, back, down, we're ready to go, right? Boom, backside, now we rotate our hips through. Again, I could go on and on. But I think the slot drills for the younger levels all the way up to 14, that the slot drill is instant feedback not only to you, but to the players, okay? And in the handout that you'll get, they'll explain it a little bit probably better than what I just went through because I'm 3 minutes past my talking time. But is there any questions on hitting? The biggest thing is, and we'll quick go through, Sam, Stevie, come here. Probably should have done this right away. Biggest issue with younger players is they want to beef up, right? They want to grab the bat and they want to hold on as tight as they can, and I'm just going to rip it, right? We want to make sure that we're teaching these players to get that bat out their fingertips more, okay? I always say line up your knocker knuckles. Most kids won't do that, okay? But they got to be somewhere in that area. We don't want their wrists like this, okay? We want bat control out in their fingertips. We don't want them to, and what I see a lot of young players do is that they're here, you tell them to line up their knocker knuckles, they line them up, and then as soon as they start their swing, they go. Right? Now we lost bat drops, now we lost all of our flexibility and all of our snaps in hitting the ball. Okay, so as coaches, try to get the bat out in their fingers more, okay? Get it out, let them get the feel for it. The other thing they do is they over grip because they don't want to let that thing go, okay? So when I first started doing this with my younger kids, teams, I said hold the bat lightly, and I had about 6 of them fly out of their hands. That's too lightly, okay? Hold the bat, get it out of your fingertips. The other big thing is just good launch position, okay? I don't bat not back here at a nice, comfortable resting area. We want them to be comfortable, ready to go. I don't want out here, good launch.
Grip is if Stevie goes behind him and just pulls the bat.
Yep.
Should be able to pull it right out of his hand.
Right.
Otherwise, it's too tight. So it should be nice and loose and quicker that way.
I think if we can get bats out in fingertips a little bit more as a hitting, that's going to help us up as they get older and stronger. Okay.
Tight muscle is a slow muscle, always.
Yes.
Tight muscle is a slow
Yes.
muscle, nice and loose. It's just like deep bleeding when you're fielding. If you're not moving, you're standing still, right? That's by definition. And by standing still, you're automatically tight. You're not loose. You're not on the shoulder. Same thing with your hand.
Yep. It's just there's systems, they all have their own thing, and I'm not saying our system's better than somebody else's, okay? Everyone's got their own opinion. But there's certain things that just like a pitching, everybody's got to get to. And these drills here will at least help us get to where, I'm sure Jeff Hoganson at Hitters Count and Tom Lechner's going to agree. But these drills that we're doing here, we do there. It's everybody's got their own philosophy, but if we can at least get some of the same things going and understanding terminology when they get here. One of our biggest issues we have at the high school level that I see is you have your Panthers ball and you have your Rhino ball, And they automatically think, these kids coming into us, that my mom and dad are paying for that coach, so they know better. So they get here and they don't want to listen to us because mom and dad ain't paying for us, okay? So they'll walk through the drills and then do their own little thing. Okay, if we get them understanding at your level before they get to Rhino and everything, when they think they're going to be the next Derek Jeter, when they come back to us as a freshman or a junior or a, you know, they're at least have an idea of what we're doing here. So, anything else, boys? No? Any other questions about any part of the? Yep.
The time constraints of an hour-long practice or hour and a half. How
Yep.
long do you run? Like 5 reps, 10 reps? Or
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So as far as kids go, as far as the batting drills go, and even some of the throwing drills and stuff, if you over rep it, you are going to lose them, and they're going to start doing bad things. So hitting drills, like our guys, we had to stop them during open gyms. They were doing the Donaldson for 15 minutes. Okay, the first 5 minutes were awesome. The next 5 minutes, they were, coach isn't watching, I'm not doing, oh, come on. Okay, so yeah, 5, 6 quality swings. Do it 6 times the right way instead of 15 times the wrong way. And you're right, you're only going to give them for 15 minutes. So you're only going to see them for a 5-minute span, and you got 14 other kids running around over here. The best thing I can say is just, you got to pick if you line them up on a line and understand what they're doing in the beginning of the season, you're going to be able to see who you got to work with at certain things, right? There's going to be some kids that pick up certain drills really good. There's going to be some kids that don't. It's, as a coach, seeing that and knowing, okay, I can leave Sam, he knows how to do, chin to glove, but Steve doesn't. So I'm going to work with him and not so much concentrate on Sam because he knows how to do that drill. But the same thing with hitting,
And if you have 2 players that have an idea and know what's going on, don't have them pair together.
Yeah.
Have them work with
Right.
work with people who don't, because then you have several coaches working together saying the same thing.
One of the big things we're doing this year as a high school program is from freshmen to seniors. Seniors had to pair up with a freshman. Perfect. Juniors had to pair up with a younger guy. So if you've got an 11, 12-year-old team, your 12-year-old's got to pair up with your 11-year-olds. That way, buddy isn't going on. I mean, it's brought us as a team closer together because now he knows what that freshman's name is. And that's one thing I can say about baseball programs or any sport at all. If you are together as a team, I always say to these guys, when you have a freshman on the team that you don't think he's going to make varsity, but all of a sudden you're in the state sectional, or you're in the sectional to go to state, and your best center fielder just got hurt, and you had to bring up that freshman, okay? You better hope to God you taught him everything he needs to know, because when that fly ball comes out to him in the bottom of the 7th to go to state, you better pray that you spend as much time teaching him as you did your buddies, because he's the difference between winning and losing. And once we got that mentality going, I think in our group, it's been a huge success and a huge change in our program this year. You see the camaraderie, you see the groups coming together. And if we can start that as a young age to understand that there is a goal. I've always said to my teams from the time I coached them from 8 up to now, I don't want you to be a great 12-year-old tournament player. I want you to be a great high school player, college player. And the kids that grabbed a hold of that and agreed with it, and the parents that had grabbed a hold of it and agreed with it, we're going to become successful.
As long as you continue to improve every year, that's the most important thing. You don't peak at 12.
No.
I don't know where my trophies are at 12.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you something. I had one player that was in Suburban. When Sam was 8, he was a 10-year-old player. And this kid, if you'd asked me at 10, I was going to tell you he's going to be the next big baseball player coming out of Neenah. His dad would tell him to do something, he would just go up and do it. I mean, without even thinking, right? Steal second, he was phenomenal. Lost track of him, he went and he played, he moved, coached in Suburban, he went and played over at Neenah. 13, 14, kind of lost track of him. I went and I coached Fall Legion baseball. And I got the roster and I saw his name. And I'm like, I saw the rest of the team and I was like, ooh, we're going to struggle, but you know what? That's okay. I got so-and-so and I got, some good players. He walked out on the field. He hadn't grown an inch. And he was nowhere near my memory of what ball player he was, okay? He was probably the second worst player on the team. 9, 10, 11 was the best player on the field, without a doubt, okay? 15 years old, I didn't know where to put him.
But it doesn't stop there.
Yeah.
The guy went to Carthage. His name was Jim Miller. He played in the early mid '90s. He got cut. I mean, legitimately cut from the college team. Freshman, sophomore, junior year. He stuck with it. He's like, I'm going to make it. He didn't grow at all. He was 6'5" in a beanpole, right? Something clicked after his junior year of college. Now he starts throwing 95, gets drafted in the 11th round from the Brewers.
You just
He
never know.
got cut, like did not pitch a ball
Yep.
for 3 years of college.
That's why some of us, I mean, I'll admit, we get at this level and we think, oh, so-and-so isn't going to turn out to be anything. Boy, was I wrong that I thought somebody who was going to be something didn't turn out to be. And the best story is Jack Tashner. Jack Tashner never pitched a baseball in high school.
Yeah,
Didn't throw one inning of baseball in high school. Outfielder. And somebody saw him in center field throw a rocket from center field to home plate, and they went, whoa. Never pitched in high school.
yeah.
Great major league,
Drafted
went to
second round.
major league career. So I guess my little spiel is that, you know what? There are certain kids that we call athletes right now that are baseball athletes. You know what they also are, though? They also love lacrosse. They also love basketball. They also love football. You never know what you're going to have come here in varsity level. You never know who's going to leave it for a different sport. So the more kids we can keep in, and the more kids we keep interested, it only helps out our program. And that's just my little spiel that I used to cut kids. It was the worst thing I ever did. I regret to this day when I was started in Suburban that I cut 9, 10, 11-year-old kids. That's the stupidest thing I ever done in my life. Is cut a kid at 9 years old and tell him he can't play baseball. Dumb. How stupid was I to do that? I lost him. He lost him. I don't have the right to tell a 9-year-old player that he's not good enough to play baseball. That's not my right. He's trying to be a kid. So I appreciate all you guys showing up. I appreciate what you do as the president of an organization that's all volunteers. I know how hard it is. I know what it's all about. And I appreciate you taking out your Saturday to listen to a Fett man talking about baseball, doing what we're doing. I do. I would do this for any day, all day. It's my passion. It's what I love. And having you guys come out here and be part of it is special. It's a change in time. So I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Thank you guys very much for your time. We'll be emailing you, right?
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.